Hi, and welcome to the Delight Knits podcast. My name is Emily, and this is where I like to talk about all that I have been knitting and spinning on. Today is Friday, December 13th. It's a good day to podcast, but it's the day that I have the time to do it. So I'm looking over here to the side because I have everything laid out that I want to talk about, and it is quite a bit. I think it's been over a month since I've podcasted last. Did I say it was Friday, December 13th of 2024? Let's see what else before we jump into everything. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Delight Knits, and I'll have all that linked below, plus everything that I talk about in some form of fashion, whether it's the shop. I usually do like the yarn dyers and makers that I use. What else? Like patterns that I use and all that kind of stuff in some form of fashion. But yeah, we're just gonna jump right in. I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is a finished object. It's been finished maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I honestly can't tell you exactly when I finished this. But this is the Allie's Sweater Light. This is the fingering weight version by Sarah Opie, who is s.knits, in yarn that I dyed myself. So it is colorwork raglan with colorwork at the sleeves, and then it's got the bind off edge there as well. I absolutely love this pattern. I actually have the fingering weight and the DK weight version, but I am in Southwest Arkansas, so it's not the coldest climate. And so DK weight sweaters are a bit much sometimes. Or going outside, if I'm spending a lot of time outside, like right now it's in the maybe it's in the 50s today, but it's been like 40s, 50s lately. And so that's like DK weight sweater outside, but not really in the office. So fingering weight sweaters are where it's at, and that's what I like to knit. So yeah, I dyed this yarn myself. It's 100% superwash, but both colorways are dyed by me, and I have not dyed yarn in like 2 years. Maybe I'll get to it eventually. But finished objects. I got a parade. So last time I podcasted, I had finished my daughter's Dear Duomo in the purpley sparkle, and I think I just had one sleeve left on my son's. So here is his. I think, so the Dear Duomo is by Seunghee Knits, and Seunghee, I do have the pattern, hold up. Let me look at her official name, because I feel horrible for not knowing it. Just a moment. Yeah, Seunghee Knits is her Instagram, but it's Seunghee Hong. And so it's the Dear Duomo, which is a DK weight sweater, drop shoulder. I have knit one with fingering weight and mohair together, because that's what the pattern calls for, I think, for a DK weight. But I've hacked for a fingering weight for myself. Then I did one for my daughter, and then now my son. And spoiler, there's another one coming. So I was going to run out. I literally used every last bit of the blue, and I still have a little bit of brown left, but I think it looks great how it is. It fits him fantastic. I used a size 6. I want to say it's a 4mm for the body, and then a 3.25mm for the ribbing areas. And then I think I did a size 1 for him. And obviously I altered, like, size 1 counts for circumference everywhere but the sleeves. Or basically just the body. So size 1 for the cast on, because it is knit bottom up. And then I just did however long he needed, plus I measured one of his little shirts and however much he needed here Honestly, on the neckline, I just picked up to where it was gonna like pick up nicely, and same for the sleeves, and then decreased and measured it to where he was at. I have learned here recently that I am very much of a go with the flow type of person with my knitting. I care less about the counts. Now, I did make sure that like each sleeve is picked up with the same number of stitches. Like that kind of stuff I'm very particular about. Like my scrappy socks, I'm very particular about them matching. But yeah, so his fingering weight sweater is finished. I don't like to show my kids off too much. I don't like to say their names on the internet because, you know, it's out there forever and who knows who's going to watch it. But I have a picture of all three of us wearing our dear Duomos, and I think I might pop that one in here because it's worth it. So yeah, they all love them. And yeah. So last time I was working on a brioche cowl, and I need to grab one more whip. A brioche cowl for the brioche class I was teaching at my local yarn store, Knit Unto Others, which that went really well and I enjoyed it. And I think we were going to do it again later when more people can attend. But it was great. So I had, I think 3 like cowls or hats or whatever going. I did end up frogging one because the contrast of the 2 colors was not, is the pink one, if you go back and watch. The contrast of the 2 colors was not what I wanted. But I did finish this one. Oh, yarns. Ruby and Rose's Plump Rose in Cobblestone and Baroque. She doesn't have in stock on her website anymore either. This one is Ruby and Rose's DK. Rose DK. I think she only has 1 DK base. It's not this non-superwash. It is superwash. I want to say it's Succulent is the dark green, and Bells of Ireland I think is this light green, lime green, whatever. But I kind of just self-drafted this. I cast on 100 stitches and brioche in the round, cast off, and it's good to go. It is the perfect little cowl for my son, for me. I mean, it kind of works out really well. Like, it's great. I will probably be knitting another one when I have that second class, or be in the process of knitting it, or I kind of am in the process of knitting one. But another finished object. 2 more finished objects. Last time I spoke with you, which is the 3rd time I've said that, and hopefully the last, I was knitting a pair of socks for my daughter, and so she's 5 and my son is 2.5, and growing kids, obviously. So it's kind of, I don't want to knit like a heel flap and gusset for them, which is my go-to for my socks. So I knit the magic heel socks for them. But I also, like, the girth of their foot's going to change as they grow. So I cast on 64 stitches and did 2x2 ribbing for like 100 rows. And then I did 2x2 on the front of the sock and plain knitting on the back of the sock. I can't really show you. I do have a picture of my daughters, but they're wrapped up for Christmas, so I can't show you the true finished object. I have them, but I'm not gonna unwrap them. Didn't think about that when I wrapped them. Her socks are, let me pull out the tag. I do have the tag still. So her socks are mustache yarn, which the label's a little bit small because I got it at DFW, I think last year. It's the perfect matched set. This one was 56 grams because they always have their mill ends at DFW. It is perfect for these socks. So it did come in 2 matching skeins, so they are 2 matching socks. Hers is the Unicorn Apocalypse in the fingering sock weight 75-25. So that is those. And then also I did the same exact thing for my son because I tried on those finished pairs and that finished pair for my daughter on him, and they look like knee socks, but you know what? He'll wear them and love them, and so these are his. And I did not get a picture before I wrapped them, so we'll see when and if I get a picture. It'll be up on Ravelry eventually. So that's that. They are finished. His is also the mustache yarn set. His actually was not a perfect match set. It was just one skein, so they don't match at all. I just split it. I did weigh the yarn, split it in half, and then knit toe up so I could use as much of the yarn as possible. His colorway was Grave Misunderstanding, and it was also 50 grams. So there's his socks. And I promise there's 2 of them. There they are. So those can go back over there in the pile of presents. What else? Finished object. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I showed off some singles spinning wise that I had finished. 3 different Polworth. 3 different, what do you call it? Bumps? Braids? 3 different braids of fiber of Polworth that were each 4 ounces. One of them was the pink, one of them was the blue, and one of them was a like variegated pinks and purples. And I feel like I'm saying a lot. It's been a while. I'm trying to get this done. I can't. Here's the finished skein. I do not have total yardage on it because when I was winding it up, I don't think I had the yardage counter on correctly. But this is, it's not going to be a full 12 ounces, but it's fairly close because I did have quite a bit of pink left over. This is fantastic. Absolutely love it. So it's been washed and thwacked and all that. It's ready to be knit with. I am so excited. I absolutely love this. I had the thought to do the Traveler hoodie or even just the Traveler crew, but I think that texture, which is by Andrea Mowry, I think that texture is going to cause me to need more yardage than I have here, which is fine. I was also thinking of like a DRK Everyday, which is another, she has so many Andrea Mowry has so many patterns that are geared towards hand spun, or she's marketing it very well to where it is, and it makes hand spinners drawn to it. I'm also thinking I love my, looking at it, twisted t-shirt, and so I could do a tee with this as well, but it will be a sweater for myself. It is my first hand spun yarn, and I love it. Obviously there's thick and thin spots. I think it's a fingering. It could be a fingering, it could be a sport. Couldn't get it. Let me compare it to one of these. Yeah, it's a fingering weight. So that is that. It's a thick skein, so it's definitely more than the normal like 400 yards. It honestly could be probably double that. I was hoping in the 1200s because that's kind of like weight wise what it is if you compare it to a normal fingering weight 100 gram skein. But I don't know. When I do cake it up, I will put it back on the yardage counter and test it out again. We'll see how it goes. Not the best skeining. Not too bad. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. I also have spun and tried a new technique for myself. Sorry if you can hear the dogs barking outside. This one has not been washed and thwacked and all that. It's been resting. I might have shown off last time one of the fibers that my fiber friend from Miss Patsy has given me from her stash because she wasn't going to use it. And I meet up with her every Wednesday. And so one week, Thanksgiving week, I spun up the entire braid fiber of the brown, like, wool, American wool. And I learned chain plying. So here is my first chain plied skein. It's probably a Sport DK. There's definitely some inconsistencies with it, and it was all towards the beginning. Like, you can see that total curly Q out of there. Let me see if I can find that piece that it's, which I can felt in. That's hilarious. There's a few of those in here, but this is that. My first chain ply. I've got quite a bit of yard, or like it's a full, I think it was, I didn't weigh it. I'm just go with it top thing. But it's quite a bit of yardage compared to, or not. I can knit something out of it. I can make something out of it. That's what I'm trying to get to. I don't know what, but I will make something out of it. So, haven't decided yet. I've got a while. I've got a lot going on until then. So that's that. My first chain plying. If you're a knitter or spinner, let me know what you think. I do still need to wash it, which is why I didn't skein it up yet. I think, let's see, I do have a couple of other finished spinning. Let me see if I can show those off. So there's the little skein. I'm pretty proud of that because chain plying was not an easy movement to get into. So it's definitely very different. I have another, I was trying to clear off my bobbins, sorry. And the leftover from my Polworth spin, I had very, very little leftover of one of the bobbins, and this is all I got off of it. I chain plied it. I don't even know if it's worth washing or using into anything, but it's very overspun with that. So, and I don't know if I spun it in the right direction or plied it in the right direction, but it's so overspun, it's insane. I can tell just by how it's going. So obviously there wasn't very much left of it. I would say less than 10 grams. I could weigh it, but I don't really care to. I might go throw it on my Christmas tree as an ornament. Because if the kids mess with it, it's okay. So that's that. Let's see if I can get this little skein up. I commend those yarn dyers that have to do that by hand every time. Last finished object is, this was some of my first spins, just trying to clear off bobbins again. I spun those up together. Still need to wind them off. But yeah. The white, I think I was learning still, like on the drop spindle. Both of these are off of the drop spindle, but I plied it on here. Just a 2-ply. I will get that wound off the bobbin soon, because I think tomorrow I'm going to do some spinning. And the bottom just came off. So, let's take a break from the spinning. And, oh, I've got one more finished object. I don't have it with me, but Addie posted it on her on her Instagram page. I did her, Addie of Ruby and Roses, I knit her stocking as a sample for her. The color, what is it called? It's from Pacific Knit Co. Her doodle pattern for stocking doodle pattern. Ugh, getting my words all twisted up. The doodle stocking pattern with Addie's Christmas mini set, and it is gorgeous. I haven't done color work since probably these sweaters here. This one Oh, I did my ECV. So I don't usually do color work, and I'm not honest. Before that, I was not the biggest fan of color work, but I had so much fun doing that. I will pop a picture in here. I took my own, but obviously go over to her Instagram and look at that because she always does fantastic on those pictures. But yeah, I still have one more that I'm going to knit for her. It is a lot of back and forth when you are sample knitting it for somebody. So I take a picture after every single motif that I knit, and she'll let me know whether it was good, bad, contrasting wise, and that kind of stuff. So it is a process, and right now she's on vacation, and I did not want to do that process while she was on vacation. So I will knit that when she gets back eventually, after I knit her next collection of swatches. So that was my other finished object. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knitted finished objects, 2 spinning objects. 3, technically, if you count the one on the wheel still. So I've done a lot. Let's move on to my next work in progress. All of my bags are by the Bay Co right now. By the Bay Bag Co. So, El Grande. I told you earlier that I was knitting myself a Dear Duomo. I am trying to go through my single skein stash, and I am knitting myself another striped Dear Duomo. I knit this one pretty much almost entirely during Thanksgiving break. I can't tell you all of the colorways. It is Ruby and Roses, Plump Rose. I think most of these are from her Canary Islands collection. I don't remember what the purple is. This one I can't tell you. I know this one's Beach Party, but that's about it. So I am striping it, obviously, to get it in, to be able to use 3 separate skeins this color. I had my husband help me pick out colors because he hates the stripes. But all I'm knitting is stripes because I'm trying to use what I have, and it's a lot of single skeins. And so this ribbing takes up so much yarn, it's insane. He had picked this out for all of my collars, or all of my ribbing. So for here, the cuffs and the collar, but obviously since the collar's in purple, I ran out completely on this. So that's going to be a little funky, but it's going to be okay. We're just going with it, right? So I knit this one in a size 6 fingering weight. So I hacked it. Fingering weight, I used my US 4mm needles. US 3.25mm needles. I'm doing the big stripes are 15 rows. The small purple stripes are 5 rows. And measurement, so stitch counts are following the size 6 in the pattern, and everything else, like I do follow the increases because that keeps increases and decreases because that keeps the stitch counts the way they need to be per pattern. But like the length here, I do differently. So that means my row gauge is very different. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing I was saying with my sons. Picked up different number here, although it wasn't that off. And then I picked up a different number here as well. So I picked this up last night. I am decreasing at a different rate. But yeah, my Dear Duomo, because I'm gonna get up and grab it. My first fingering weight, Dear Duomo, absolutely love it. Probably my most worn knit ever. I put it on pretty much every night. The sleeves are already short because on these I did run out of yarn. I did 3 colors on this one. So that one I knew to do 4 colors. 5 technically because I was going to do the ribbing, but the ribbing is in a different color, so 5 colors. So these sleeves are short, and I wish I would have decreased at a more rapid rate. You can kind of see about where my nose is, I start decreasing rapidly. So I'm trying to, on this other one, decrease at a different rate because this is a huge, and then it goes narrow. I'm trying to make it more even. We'll see how it works. But I had this around the campfire plus that one around the campfire all week at Thanksgiving because I was using this like measurement to compare what I was doing on the next one. So I washed it and I put my superwash sweaters in the washing machine on delicate, and it's just them, and I think I did like socks with them too. Well, my socks I put in the dryer on the lowest setting possible because it's okay if they shrink up. They sometimes kind of need it. And I put this one in the dryer. With that, plus another two sweaters. I washed my Gardy Cardi. I washed my long summer cardigan. Both of those went in the dryer. And then I washed my other Allie sweater because when I wore it to work one day, I dropped Chinese food on it. So that one, my Allie sweater, because of the color work tension, I did lay it out to dry, and that was the only one I did. Gardy Cardi did shrink up a little bit, but I think it needed it because the way the garter stitch does is it pulls over time and gets longer, so it kind of needed a little shrink. My long summer cardigan did fine, but this one, the sleeves are horribly small now. They probably come to about right here. So it's like this on me, which isn't I don't like it. I don't like that feeling of them being here. I tend to pull my sleeves down like this. So the fact that these sleeves come to about right here is not nerve-wracking. What's the word? I can't think of the word. It's disheartening. No, I don't like it. I just don't like it. So these sleeves, I mean, you can kind of see. These sleeves are short. I'm brokenhearted over it. I might try to like reblock it and pin them long, and it may fix it a little bit. I need to do that. But I'm making those sleeves so much longer than what these are, and we'll get that done. So I needed a new one. That one will fit my daughter eventually. It'll be a good oversized, or it may fit a little girl at church right now who's grown a lot in the last few years. It may fit her. I'll find somebody to give it to, or I'll keep it for my daughter. Either way, it's a great sweater. But I'm excited to get this new one off the needles for myself, and I can see always having that pattern on the needles. I pretty much have it memorized, and I love it. It is a bottom up, and I love the drop shoulder. So I do have like squared shoulders where raglans do the best for me. I'm not very rounded, and so the drop shoulder and the raglans always fit me best. The yokes, I think I have 1 or 2 yoked sweaters, and they just don't fit me well at all, or I'm not as comfortable in them. Okay, that's a lot. That was a lot about that one. My next My next whip. My husband decided over the last month that he likes his knitted socks that I knit for him last year. And he wants another pair. So every now and then I'll go through my yarn stash, and I've been on the fence of a few skeins of destashing them, or like, what do I want to do with these? Because I have so many single skeins just from various things. And so I was doing that again, and I had a few skeins laid out on the closet floor because I was going through the box in my closet, and my husband was like, well, you can use this one for socks for me. And this is Ruby and Roses, and this one's an older skein because it's in her old label. So it's Ruby and Roses Letter Writer on her Fragrant Rose base, which is her superwash merino cashmere. And my 6'5", not skinny as a stick husband chose the base that has the least amount of yardage. So I had to get some contrasts in. Actually, here's his first pair of socks that I knit for him. On Ravelry, they're labeled Bigfoot socks. I knit my socks at I'll take off the pair that I'm wearing. I knit my socks at a 64 stitch gauge. Which have been washed since he's worn them, and I've worn these all day, so they're they're very different, stretched out. But these are 64 stitches. These are 80 stitches wide. So Bigfoot socks indeed. So I knit his 80 stitches around. I do a 20 stitches long, or 20 repeats long slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And then I decreased to 78 stitches because I needed it to get over his heel here, and then it fit his foot tight. So I'm putting my sock back on. These are also Addie of Ruby and Roses. Shocker, right? I have a lot of her stuff, but I sample knit a lot for her, so a lot of the yarn I did not personally pay for. Okay, so I have knit his pair of socks here. Ruby and Roses Letter Writer. All of my socks that I've talked about, I don't think I've mentioned the needle size. I use a 9-inch circular US 0.2 millimeter Letter Writer. This is from the outside of the cake. This mini is a one that I dyed, I think. I just went through my little scraps and yarn stash. Found that one that fit. This one is from the inside of the cake. So definitely sisters and not twins, but it'll be fine. This is why you alternate your skeins when you have hand-dyed yarn. So this is the same skein of yarn even. Yeah, so just be aware of that. It happens. The variations happen. Okay, you can see it in my sweater. I did alternate in my sweater. This is not alternating. So why you alternate skeins. So I have knit this much on them, and my 9-inch circulars do not like to hold on to all the 80 stitches. It's too wide for my 9-inch circulars. So I have to put little end stoppers, and they like to pop off too. So I'm hoping to have these finished by Christmas. I don't know how far away. I do need to grab that sock I just threw down that he's currently wearing and pop it in my knitting bag to see. But I'm getting there. He is like a size 15. And like I said earlier, he's not skinny as a raw tall person like you see a lot of times. He is proportionate to his height. So that is my Bigfoot pair number 2. He will get probably 1 pair a year if he continues to wear them. He has to wear his socks to get more socks knit for him, because not wasting my time. My kids are very knit worthy. He will not get a sweater. He's so hot natured. He won't get a sweater, so we won't have 4 matching Dear Duomos. Not gonna happen. Don't mention it. Okay, what other things am I working on? I'm working on my drop spindles still here and there with my Snyder drop spindle. And I think this is BFL from a lady. You can't get it anymore, but that's what it is, from a bat as well. And I was gifted this. I'm not a fan of the sparkle stuff that's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's all over the floor. Like, it does not stay in the fiber. It flies around everywhere. I'm ready to get it done and get it out of my house. So I'm going to spin it up and I'm going to apply it together with itself. And my plan is to knit like a Sophie shawl or Sophie scarf. Well, not the petite knit. I'm going to hack it. And sorry for all those people that have paid patterns that are like that. I'm going to make I can do it. But there are free versions that are very similar. So I'm going to knit that for the lady who taught me how to spin as like a thank you. So that's that. And in my other By the Bay bag, didn't even catch that when I grabbed it. I think I'm done talking about what I'm... Oh, well, I guess there's one more thing. So this Wednesday, I went to the yarn store, took my wheel, did not take my drop spindle, took some fiber to show my friend, and my battery was dead. Didn't have the charger for the battery, didn't have the cord to plug my wheel into the wall, so there was no spinning happening. But I did take a braid of fiber. I took the braid of Shanico from Crafted by Locals that I got at DFW. I don't remember the colorway, and I don't know where the tag's at. But I went ahead and broke it up and got it ready to fractal spin. Took me a little bit to fractal spin. It's just the way you lay out the yarn together. It's a math word. And if you have not realized, knitting and spinning is so much math and makes my accountant heart even happier. I'm a numbers person. And so it's, yeah. So I split it. I took the braid and split it in half. My 4-ounce braid and split it in half. And then I split one of those halves into 4 pieces. And then I split the other half into 8 pieces. And they're tied together. And I'll spin this as 1 ply and this is 1 ply. And spin these 2 plies together. And so the reason... So with the fractal spinning and you split it in 2 different ways is your color repeats. These will have longer color repeats and these will have shorter color repeats. If you're not familiar with spinning, it's probably very difficult to understand, but it works. It's just the way the math works. So I've got that I'm ready to spin now. So doing that prep work it's a lot of work to get this kind of a prep work and mindset in, but now I can literally just pick it up and spin. So I'm ready for that. I haven't had a project spinning since this one, and so I'm ready for it. I guess I have acquisitions next. And since we're talking about spinning, I'll show off the fiber that I've bought. I've bought so much fiber. Fiber that has not come in that I've purchased that I'm waiting to come in. I bought the Year of Fiber from Shopla Mercery. That first one will come in towards the end of December, beginning of January, and then I'll get 12 4-ounce bumps, I think is what it is, or 4-ounce braids, whatever the terminology is. I'll get one every month, and I'm so excited about that because that's a way for me to try different colors, different dyers, different breeds. I have been more trigger happy, I guess is a term I can use on fiber, where I want to purchase so much fiber, and I've always been like, I'm not going to purchase yarn. With my yarn, I don't purchase unless I have a project in mind. Well, with fiber, I've not been that way, so needs to rein it in a little bit, but we'll see. I bought, so I bought that. That'll come in, it's a subscription. I'll get 12 and that'll come in 1 a month. And I also bought 4 4-ounce braids from ZZ Textiles of her LB. I don't know how to say the full word, but it's like the brown, I can't even describe it. But that should come in the next few weeks. I have plenty of fiber and plenty of stuff going on that I probably won't. I'm not like, I'm waiting for it. I want to see it. It's going to be gorgeous, but like, I'm not anxious. I'm not wanting to get it immediately. Yeah. So I bought 4 ounces for that, and I'm hoping, so that'll be 16 ounces. I'm hoping that'll be enough for a traveler hoodie. Because I don't think this will be enough for a traveler hoodie. I also, Little Fiber Co., which is Lauren, had a one-of-a-kind sale, one-of-a-kind and a mystery sale with her inventory a couple of weeks ago. A while ago, or recently. And I snagged 3 braids from her. They're all one of a kinds. They're all American Rambouillet. So it's 20.5 microns and 4 ounces. I got this one. And I got this one. And I got one more of these. So there's 2 of this one and 1 of this one. And this is going to be a 3-ply. And I'm so pumped. These are my colors. These match my... these are my colors. If you remember, I was wearing my Market Henley last time. They're my colors. Love them so much. And I had a gift card from the sample note I did for her. And so I didn't even spend my own money on this. I used gift card money. And is that not just the most gorgeous stuff? So, and I mean, it's a one of a kind. So you are going to have stuff like that. But that adds to it. It's gorgeous. They're just going to sit and wait for a little bit. I also ordered her she put up 6 extras of the patisserie countdown that we can start opening tomorrow, but I don't have it yet, which is okay. I got one of the 6 extras, and I'm so excited to get that. I have so much fiber to play with, if only I had enough time in the day to do it. I've also purchased, with Addie of Ruby and Roses, she did a in-stock for her Christmas colorways. I got a sweater quantity, also gift card yarn, of chestnut on plump rose. So I have 5 of these. Took one out because, dealing with that. There's 5. Plump rose, which is an 85/15 fingering weight yarn. I absolutely love this color. I've got so many blues, as you've seen. So I think this one will be a gorgeous one. I plan on making the birch sweater or the Straya cardigan. It's the same thing. It's the same fisherman's rib pattern. Not pattern, but like texture. I've knit one as a sample for Addie. Loved it so much. I've been wanting one, but I wanted a single color because I wasn't a fan of the stripes, because the beginning of round on that one's like right here. And with stripes, you can tell if you don't do a lot of work with the weaving and ends, and I don't want to do all that work again. So I'm going single color, and my husband doesn't want many more stripes. So birch or Straya cardigan by Andrea Mowry. Tell me I lean to certain designers. So I purchased that. And then it is December. It is Advent season. I've got one Advent. I'm going to show it to you. It goes through the 13th, or I have all 13 open through, because today is Friday the 13th. So I'm just going to show it to you. If it's a spoiler, it is the Paisley Knits. Is that her? Paisley Knits. She is from Canada. I have loved watching her on Instagram, and so this is my first purchase for yarn. So I've got that Advent, and I'm going to show it to you. It does have the 13 colors. So if you have it and you haven't opened it, here's your spoiler warning. But it might already, it's okay. This may not go up on the 13th. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. But I've also opened one goodie. So it is a 31-day Advent. It is, I've got it on some yarn here. This is where day 1 starts, and I am absolutely loving it. These are fantastic colors. Go with my vibe. The colors fit me well. I think my favorites, if I can get them to go, I love day 4, which is this one here. I love day 4, but I also love, I don't remember where the other ones were. So this was 12 and 13. I think 10 was one. So this might have been 9. But I love these 3 right here as well. They're all gorgeous. I don't know what I'm going to make with them yet. I have liked the idea of waiting until the full Advent's done, because last year when I did my Camel's Yarn Advent, it was gorgeous. Like, I absolutely love it in the order that they came in, but I kind of wish I knew what was at the end, because I did a sweater and I knit it as I was going. I'm not gonna grab it. And it starts out gold and it ends with the dark blues that I love so much, and I wish I would have had that up top. So this way it's gonna be an order for if I want to use it in the intended order, or I can always switch them around. This is her coastal sock, which I can't remember what the base makeup is, but it's a gorgeous Advent, and I'm having so much fun opening these up each day. And I think 45 minutes later, that's everything. That's it. I have a lot to do, a lot of laundry to get done, which is how I ended the last time. I want to spin. So I'm going to leave you at that, and we'll see how much I get done. It might be the new year before I podcast. It definitely will be. But that's also tax season, and I am an accountant at a small CPA firm where we do taxes. So we'll see when I podcast next. Life is lifing. It's busy, but we're enjoying it. So I hope everybody has a great Christmas. If you celebrate, a great whatever's going on in your life. Great time until I see you next. Bye.